Yeah, it's your host RIF with your host C. I want to welcome you to a new episode of the Real and Unapologetic podcast. Strap yourselves in because for the next 30 to 60 minutes, it's gonna be one hell of a ride. Yeah, I sound like motherfucker Prince. Yo, let's go. All right. This is the one and only podcast where we talk about the topics that need to be talked about. We say the things that need to be said, the way they need to be said, and at the same time offer real solutions that just might change the way you're thinking and maybe change and bring some sense of some of the craziness that's going on in this world. So, prepare yourselves because we're going to be coming at you raw, hard, real, and unapologetic. Ladies and gentlemen, and podcast lovers, stand up and give a round of applause for your boys, RIF and C.
Well, folks, it's time to kick it old school.
Yo, we gotta find out if C's ready. Yo, C, you ready? Come on, C. I know I'm ready. C, you ready? Come on. Yeah. Welcome to another episode of the Real and Unapologetic podcast, episode number 7. You know what? That just happens to fall on Valentine's Day. That wasn't planned.
Yep, this is not my plan.
We didn't plan it. You know, we're not against Valentine's Day or anything like that. But it just happened to be, you know, the episode about relationships and does love make you crazy? Or is love just crazy? Like I said, it fell on Valentine's Day, but a coincidence. Things happen, great things happen, you know, when it falls like that. And it seemed like it fell into place, the right way. So we're going to get into this. Let's get into this topic, man. But first I want to ask and welcome Kay, and I'm going to ask her a question at the same time, but I'm welcoming her. So just to let everybody know your name, your background, tell them, just who you are.
A little bit about yourself.
Yeah.
I guess I can just talk a little bit about, I have a background in HR. Okay. That's like my corporate job, but I also do some writing and a lot of reading. I'm a dog mom. I'm single. I'm 39, never been married, no kids. Okay. And yeah. Loving the single life.
Loving the single life. You sound like that's a good catch, right? That's a good catch, right?
39. I can't even remember 39.
Right. You said he can't, right. Because I was 39 though. See? What was 39 like? See? What was 39 like?
There was so much going on. That's probably why I can't remember it.
That sounds like the best life when you don't remember what happened in 39.
Hey, that's right. That means you're living your life to your fullest, right? Definitely. That's
my favorite age for sure.
So what kind of pup do you have? What kind of dog?
She is a little husky terrier, so she is a cold weather dog and very active. So yeah. It's definitely the type of weather right now for her. So we just came back from walking outside. It's no fun for me.
Right. And it's snowing. So Texas really gets no snow, but it's snowing out. So
it's snowing in Texas?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Never. I mean, it really gets snow.
You're not in Texas, are you? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm on the East Coast. We just had last weekend we had 18 inches of snow here, and then in the middle of the week we got hit with another 6 inches. So yeah, we still cleaning out in some spaces.
Right. So the snow we got is like rain to them. Honestly, it's like serious. It's like if they seen this, they'd be like, "That ain't goddamn snow."
Dude,
I do not. No. I'm from an island. I don't drive in snow. Like that's not a thing.
Dude, I couldn't believe it when I first went to college. I went to college in Virginia, and they don't get a lot of snow either. And we was down there, and then I saw on the television they was like the news forecast, the weather forecast is coming up, and it's going to be snowing. So I was like, they're going to get a lot of snow in Virginia. He was like, yeah, we can see maybe about 1/4 of an inch of snow hitting this county and hitting this county. And I was like, 1/4 inch? They putting that on the news? And then the guy goes, the following is a list of school closings. And I was like, what? Off of 1/4 inch of snow?
Tell him we only closed schools for 40 inches.
That's right. I remember in the 70s during that big snowstorm, man. Shoot, they was like, okay, yeah, schools are delayed, but they open. It was like 30-some inches of snow.
Right. That's crazy, man.
Oh my God, we're supposed to get like 1/2 inch, and I'm like, gosh, I don't think I can even walk outside. That's like so dramatic.
Wow, man, that's funny, man.
Texas life.
Texas, Texas,
nice.
The life of Texas, man. Yeah, man. It's just so. How's we got any Valentine's Day believers? Like,
hey, I mean,
nobody said nothing. So,
look, I'm like this. I mean, I think Valentine's Day now is really for the younger people. I mean, I guess when you get to be my age, it's almost you try and keep your Valentine's Day every day. That's how you keep stuff moving. But
right.
Yeah, it's yeah, Valentine's
it's a married
Day,
guy, right?
Yeah, it's just another day now.
Right.
I think it's more for the younger people. For people who are just starting into a relationship. But if you've been with somebody 40, 50 years, that's 40, 50 Valentine's Day. It's hard to be creative after that.
You already did the flowers, the balloons, you gave her everything. That's crazy. No, that's funny, man.
Yeah. I'm not a big Valentine's person. I think it's nice, but like you should get flowers just because, not because there's a holiday telling you that you need to get flowers.
Yeah.
But I always have flowers in my house. So it's not like I need a special occasion to buy flowers or to receive flowers. That's just a thing.
Okay.
Right. No. Definitely not.
That's how I think. I don't know what other women think, but
I can tell you how some of them think. That's you don't come in with them flowers. It's a wrap.
Yeah.
You might as well pack your shit up and just call it sleep at your cousin's house or something, because them flowers mean a lot, man, on this day.
Yep.
It's like once you receive flowers in a relationship, there's kind of like, okay, here's the bar of expectations, which is kind of like, now you got to do this every year. Now you got to get creative. What kind of flowers?
That's why you keep it low. Keep the bar low. Just give stickers out.
Bare minimum.
Stickers.
Give a flower stick on a shirt. Just keep it moving.
That's just terrible. At that point, just don't do anything.
Listen, I've had my share of Valentine's, man. I've done it. I actually woke up and I was like, text, happy free day, So that's happy free day. Serious. It's just, listen, when you're free, that's what you start. Hey, it's no different than Christmas, celebrating Christmas, or hey, happy free day.
Oh my God, that's totally funny.
That's when you start texting. You start communicating different. People don't understand you no more. They're like, what the fuck? So no, real.
That's the thing. It's like, if you're in a relationship, I remember when I was in a relationship, I'm like, do you give guys Valentine's? And, in my mind, I'm like, well, it should be an equal relationship. Like, we're all about men and women being equal. Like, what the hell do you give to a guy? I gave a Starbucks card. So I was like, I don't know. Like, what do you give on Valentine's Day?
What did you think about that? He
said, thank you. I don't know. Like, what do you give? You don't give flowers, do you? Like, that's not, what do guys want? Well, actually, don't answer that.
No, I want to hear C's. What do you want, C? What do you want?
I mean, look, over the years, and I honestly, I have gotten flowers on Valentine's Day before. I've gotten boxes of candy and stuff, but I think that especially in this day and age, it's it's a two-way street. I mean, back in the day, I remember it was all about, you had to give the girl something, but now some women just take offense to that. Some women take offense to Valentine's Day, So, I mean, to play it safe, make it a two-way street, almost like going Dutch on the first date or whatever,
I like that. Right. Yeah, that's good. I think it's just like a lot of pressure to put someone's happiness into one person for one day every year. Like that's just like I think that's just
it should be 365. Well, 365 days a year. It should be definitely.
Yeah.
Like you said, it should be, once you've been in a relationship for a while, it should be something that's ongoing. You show love whenever you want to,
Yeah.
It shouldn't be summed up on one day that it has to be like, hey, if you don't do it, then you're a horrible guy or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Or a horrible woman, you didn't give something.
And this is gonna be, this is just coming from experience. It's just my opinion, but
right.
The problem with that, you say, okay, this year, I forgot this year, but I don't know about you, Shay, but women tend to focus on that one time.
That one time, right?
That one time. If you do something 30 times in a row, let's say your job is to take garbage out every night.
Every night, right?
That one night that you forget to take it out, that's the one night, and all of a sudden becomes always. You always forget to take out the garbage. Wait, I did it 364 times in a row. That one time is the one thing. So I think sometimes women tend to focus on
that one time.
They don't.
Well, it's confirmation bias. If you show up in a relationship and you think a man's gonna like fuck it up one day, mess it up, you are literally ignoring every good deed until that person fucks up. Then you're like, I knew it. That's how you're showing up.
Yeah,
you're like, I've been waiting for you to fuck it up all day long, and here you go. You finally did it. Confirmation bias.
So then I can say that women tend to focus on the things that you don't do.
Right.
That's what they focus on.
I'm pretty sure guys do the same thing. Like I don't think that's just like a one-way street.
I think that's a one-way street. I think as a guy, I can say I don't wait for her. She's not like a mouse, and I put a trap out and be like, and just wait for her to just get snagged. You know what I mean? I'm not waiting for her to just like trap her ass. No. That's the secret you just told us. So women wait for your one fuck up. No,
I mean, it's confirmation bias. It's not a female thing. I think that's just like how people show up in a relationship. If you have like anxiety or attachment issues and you're just waiting for the person you're with to do something, like I'm just waiting for this guy to mess up because all the other guys behind him all messed up.
Okay. I got what you're saying.
And so it's like you're reading a different book, but you're expecting the same outcome. Like that's right. I don't think that's like a women thing. I think that's just like an attachment relationship.
Other failed attempts, and you're just looking for that other failed. Right. I get it.
Yeah.
All right. So look, let's. So we can say that communication needs to be the forefront, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you need to communicate, and you have to understand that person the way that they communicate, which takes us into understanding the 5 love languages, how a person communicates, like which language they communicate with. You know what I'm saying? Are they a verbal person? Do they need that physical touch? Do they need that the good deeds, like putting the trash out? And because you forgot putting the trash out, they focus on that like, oh my God, that was so dramatic to them because they're a person of deeds. They look for deeds to be done for them. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what it is, man. The lack of communication, man. I think that's what we all struggle with in relationships, is the lack of understanding how that person communicates. What language are they speaking to us? What language is it? Like, of course, if I spoke French and they was American and we didn't understand each other, we could be saying the same thing, but we're just not going to come across and get across to each other. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to get across to each other because we don't understand their language.
Right. And I think everybody has their own understanding of what love is to them. So just because love means something to you,
right,
doesn't mean that it means the same thing to everybody else. And if the way you express love and the way they're expecting love, if that doesn't, if that's not compatible, it's going to cause problems, especially if there's not communication.
right. So that's why I said understanding what their love language is, and that's why I want to discuss that. So let me break down the love languages so people can understand. So first, we have the first love language is words of affirmation. Second one is going to be quality time. The third love language is receiving gifts. The fourth love language is acts of service, and the fifth love language is physical touch. Can you identify what your love language is? Just from...
I took this Facebook quiz and it said physical touch and quality time, which I think the problem with those love languages is that it's not static. People think once you're attached to a love language, you can't be fluid. You can't change love language based off of the relationship you're in, based off of where you are in your journey of your life, and also the stage of relationship. Is it a new relationship or is it a long-term relationship? And then really what context? Some people want physical touch and they think that's what they need, but really it's quality time or words of affirmation, which when I took that quiz 5 years ago, it was words of affirmation and quality time. Now it's more physical touch, quality time. So what has changed in the last 5 years is I'm no longer in a relationship. That's actually a different part of my life. But I think if you, aside from love languages, people don't know how to communicate what they want.
Right.
I think that's I frequently talk to a lot of friends that don't know how to communicate what is disappointing them in their relationship. They're like, oh, he never says this, never does this. I'm like, but what do you actually really want? So you're getting upset over an action or lack of action. Do you really want this person to call you every day or text you throughout the day? There's a very specific action you're looking for, and you just don't know how to communicate it. So
you got.
I don't think people are mature enough for that.
That's maturity comes with knowing yourself, doing a self-assessment,
right?
Knowing who you are, what you like, and that brings me to why I say that when you are single, before you go jump into something else, that's the time to date yourself. Date yourself. Take yourself out on a date. You know what I'm saying? Get to know what you like, what you want. So that way before you go looking for something, you actually know what it is. You know what I'm saying? And you're not just bouncing all around with that person, this person, and end up ruining a bunch of, different people because you don't actually know what you want. You know what I'm saying? So you got to know what you want. You got to know what you want.
Yeah. Plus, I mean,
go ahead, Kay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, plus if you are unhappy with yourself and you're unhappy being alone, and you, let's say, attach yourself to someone, you're not gonna know if you're choosing that person because you're lonely or you really like that person.
Right.
That person is genuinely somebody that you physically and emotionally and psychologically are attracted to. Because some people are just afraid of being lonely, and I think that is in itself that's a you problem, not
a you problem.
A relationship is not gonna fix that. It literally,
if your ass can't,
Band-Aid.
I can't go to Pathmark or C-Town, you know what I'm saying? And you go trip up because I went to Pathmark, and people just, you got to be secure with yourself. You got to be secure with yourself. You got to be okay with being alone, and you got to know you. That's why I tell you, I tell people all the time, man, it's been the best thing just being by myself and being single, because I've learned a lot about me and what I like and what I don't like. So it eliminates a lot of people that I won't go after, that I would normally go after and date. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not the booty no more. It's not about her body and all that. It's about what I actually want for, what I actually like.
Yeah.
So, before you would just test whatever. Like, oh, maybe it's this. Maybe it's that. No, serious, real shit, man.
Yeah.
That's what people end up doing. You end up testing shit. You like, because you go car shopping. It's like that. You don't know what kind of car you want. You end up driving a little small shit, electric joint. Then you end up in a big Hummer, and it's all over the place. It's like, listen, know what you want, and then they can't sell you some bullshit. Just know exactly what you want. Like, yo, this is what I'm getting into, and it makes things better for you and that person you're dating, because a lot of times people's insecurities show up and they're trying to search while they're in that relationship. They're searching while they're in it. See what I'm saying? They're searching for something in the relationship. They're in it and they're still going, I don't, and it's like, dude, get what you want, man. You got to get what you want. So, yeah. What you think, C?
I mean, and I'm gonna go from experience again, and like, to me, it always goes back to communication. And you got to realize too that when you're first dating somebody, and it goes both ways, everybody's putting their absolute best forward. That they showing. It's almost like the peacock, he's gonna spread those feathers so that you can say, "Oh my goodness, what a fantastic spread that peacock has." I'm gonna hang out with him. But then after a while, when feathers start falling off, well, he can't keep the upkeep up on the feathers, start seeing the real peacock, But it all, to me, it comes down to communication, because I know, like, especially in like my early relationships, I found it because, all right, first let me tell you, my pops was always, this is one of my pop's favorite sayings. How can you expect a woman to want to take care of you if you can't take care of yourself? Right. So I had to learn. I had to learn how to cook. I had to learn how to clean. I had to learn how to sew. I had to learn how to do everything for myself. Right. So now, if I'm in a relationship with a woman who's the real nurturing type, and I'm used to doing these things by myself, now she's getting upset because now it's like, you don't let me do anything for you. I want to do this. And I'm like, but it's something I can do myself. I want to do it for myself. So it's got to be that communication, especially early in the beginning. Right. If y'all can't decide, like you said, what your love language is, if they're not compatible, you kind of setting yourself up for the fall.
Yeah.
For the fall. I'm with you on that, see?
That's really a great explanation. I think, like, I like to believe people the first time they show me who they are. So people show up. It's my job as like an HR to really get to know people within like the first 30 minutes that I meet with them. And I meet with like random strangers and talk to them. So it's normal for me to just get to know people. And I'm always surprised that in like dating, some people I don't know themselves well enough to really show up the first time as themselves, but they show up as the ideal of who they want to be. Like on dating apps, for example, they're putting up pictures. Yeah, I'm sure you guys did. There's people that put up like pictures of themselves when they were like they were a lot slimmer and a lot
and they
more
were like
athletic.
11.
Yeah, and then you show up to the date, you're like, who the hell are you? Like, this is not you.
This is not you, right?
Catfish. I'll never forget it. I went on a date with a guy who went into a car accident and posted pictures of him before the car accident. So when I showed up to the date, I did not recognize him. I did not know who he was because he had like reconstructive face surgery. I'm like, oh wait, so that was 9 months ago. Your photos are not the same. It was a little
that's deep right there. That's deep. That's right.
There's a lot more deepness into showing up who you are. If you don't like who you are today, that is not. That's
why I said you got to get.
That's the problem.
You got to get to know yourself.
You work on yourself. Like, my God, don't show up to a date if you're unhappy with yourself.
Right. Be who the fuck you are. Listen, be who you are, man.
Who you are.
Celebrate that shit every day. Be who you are. Be happy. If it doesn't align with that person and it ain't for you, then you know.
So
what I'm saying?
I know. There's a billion people out there. There's so
many
7
billion out there. Motherfuckers. 7 billion of us.
But let me ask you this, because I didn't grow up during the during the internet dating stage.
Well,
So,
let me put this out. She's a millennial anyway, so
okay.
we got a millennial in the building. Put the alert.
Millennial, like
Dan.
But
39 is not that young. Okay?
That's a millennial.
But the question I have is that, you know, especially with these dating apps, you know, I'm sure that when you go on them, I guess they ask you a bunch of questions and all of that to see who you might be compatible with. But if a guy is looking at your let's say a guy just absolutely loves your appearance, right? Mm-hmm. But he goes on and he checks out your whole profile and everything. Now he can come back to you and say, because he read your profile and everything that you like, now he can come, oh yes, I love reading these books and I love doing this. I love skydiving and
the bullshit.
He doesn't.
I don't think they really read the profile. I think people are full of it when they say
guys don't read shit. I'm gonna be real. Guys don't read shit.
I like to read, so I will read a profile.
But I see what you're saying. See,
that gives him an unfair advantage because now when he comes to you and he filled out his application because he's like, yo, this girl is hot. I gotta meet her. Let me check out her profile, and I'm gonna make my profile just as compatible as her. So when she reads my profile, it looks like we. And no, he's just basically off a physical appearance. So that's kind of cheating and kind of being deceiving. You know.
That's why that whole.
So what makes you trust on?
It's kind of like the same thing if I was to be sitting at like a coffee shop or a bookstore or a bar, and I like to look at a profile and say, I would let you talk to me. Like I would like to talk to you just based off of your physical look. And that's okay. Like I think physical attraction is totally fine. That's like normal. But like I don't know.
But I see what C.
I remember what my
he can cheat off of you saying I like fishing, I like hiking, I like to go diving, and then he reads yours and just goes and it matches up with you like, yeah, I like hiking and diving and fishing too. And he absolutely hates the shit. You know, just to get in your panties. Just to get in the panties. That's what the fuck they No, real shit. That's what he I get it. Because there's
I will be the first to admit that I will not talk to someone who doesn't like being physically active, who doesn't like to read books or doesn't like to educate themselves, because those are things I'm really into. And even though I don't necessarily see like long-term relationship for every single match that I'm in, I still don't want to waste my time with people that I think are dumb, you know, like I'm trying to be around people that elevate me, whether or not that's just like a date or like a friendship.
Right. Definitely.
But that's me. Now, if you obviously cheat and go and like research me, because in the age of the internet, information is much more accessible. Like you can go and Google me, you can see where I work, you can see like what I like to do for fun, you can see, you know, I don't have much of a social media life, but you would see all the things that I'd be really into. But I think it's shallow to think that having things in common creates a connection. You just have something in common with someone.
That's bullshit, man.
Like,
I'm not doing that shit. I don't bullshit. I'm telling you exactly what the fuck it is. If I don't like the library, I'm not fucking going there with you.
And like football season obviously just ended and everyone's like, oh, do you watch football? I'm like, gosh, old me when I was younger was like, oh yeah, I love football. Damn, I don't give a fuck about football.
Right.
Yeah, I'm literally like,
whatever it is, you gotta be you. You can't show up somebody fuck, and that's what this whole shit is, man. What do you guys think on the chemical and science side of love, like the science behind love, like how, you know, the makeup of it?
A lot of times I don't think people realize that there's a science and a chemical background for love, because they never really, I think it's because it's been, you know, love has just been so romanticized in the movies and and everything. Most people don't know that it's actually a chemical and
reaction.
It's a chemical reaction.
Right.
And, you know, and a lot of times I think that if you don't know that, it's going to lead to problems in the relationship. Because
Right.
let's get real. In the beginning, when you fall in love in the beginning, everything is butterflies and rainbows and sunshine. Everything is just perfect, But and what happens, I think, is, and I think it's a scientific fact. They've done studies on it that the same chemicals that your brain releases are the same chemicals that you release when you using cocaine or you're
Dopamine.
using crack.
Yeah.
Dopamine.
Levels.
Yeah.
And McDonald's French fries.
Right.
What happens with that is that you remember how it first felt when you all first met and you all first fell in love. You remember that feeling, and so for the whole relationship, you're just trying to get that same
first hit, that first love, that first hit.
It's almost like the crackhead. They smoked crack and they want to get that. The first time they smoked crack, how wonderful it was. They want to be like, I got to get that feeling again. I got to keep doing this again and again until I get it, until I get that feeling again. And when they can't, I can imagine it becomes frustrating if you don't know that this is what's going on.
I think women struggle with that more, though. See, I have to say that. I think women, I mean, for me, that's just my opinion. I think women struggle with that, trying to get those first butterflies they felt with that guy. Mm-hmm. They keep chasing those butterflies. You know what I'm saying? To get that hit. I think women struggle with that. I don't think as a man, I can say I honestly struggled with wanting that first hit. I accept people and I allow it to evolve and grow with them. You know what I'm saying? Just to grow, because it's going to grow over time. You're going to, in the beginning, you're holding hands every freaking minute, you walking through the mall, holding hands. Then it gets to a point where you're like going to your own store. I'm going to go into my store. I'll meet you back out here in the center in 20 minutes. You know what I mean? I don't want to go inside that store. Mm-hmm. Then you're at the point where you're like, I don't want to go to the mall. You go today. You know what I'm saying? And then they end up going to the mall by themselves. So you have to allow it to evolve. But I think women struggle with that feeling as far as trying to keep that first hit, that first butterfly, to keep them butterflies flowing. And, Kay, we got you here. So I got to put it on you.
I don't know. This is just coming from like my personal experience. And I think this is just only because I've gone through, like, I regularly go to therapy and I do thought work and mindset work. And I do a lot of reading in terms of neurological pathways between like your emotional health and your physical health. And I think like people forget that your brain is a muscle, but your thoughts and feelings come from your brain. And if you don't exercise and continuously have a mindset of self-love first before you, I don't like to say that women seek validation external of themselves, but I do see that a lot in like my female friends. Like today, of course, it's Valentine's, and a lot of girls are like posting like, oh, I got flowers today, and oh, I got chocolate today, and here I am like, oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. And other people are like, I didn't get any flowers today. I feel like shit. I don't feel loved and appreciated. And we are all humans first. We all seek love. We all seek like that affirmation of who we are as an individual, of someone that can be loved. But if you don't give yourself that and you're constantly seeking that from someone else, that's a problem. Like,
that's a problem.
But I think like definitely C has a point. Like your thoughts drive your emotions, which drive your actions. And if you are literally thinking, I am not lovable, I'm not loved, that drives your emotions up the haywire. And then that's how you start acting the way that you act. But not a lot of people know that. They don't know that type of connectivity. And it's definitely chemical reactions. There's a lot of study in terms of brain health, right. How people that's another thing. Like if you're not on like physically fit, or you don't sleep well, or you don't like consume the right type of digital content, you become very depressed. And in the last year, depression has gone up by 80%. Mm-hmm. And that's just like saying, like, if you are not emotionally in a better state of mind, like you're obviously going to take love really hard
Really
if
hard,
it's
right,
not going
right,
the
right.
right way. Yeah.
No,
And
I feel
I
you. I
don't know, I
agree.
think
No,
love and
go ahead.
affection, like affection and attention, those are two different things. And I think people also forget that. Someone
Right,
giving you attention is not affection.
right.
It's just attention.
Attention, right.
But I'm probably not of the norm to speak on other behalf of other women, but I was like, that's my mindset. I like, oh no,
You know, and,
that's
and like
what.
like 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 Reef said, it's a thing. I don't think people understand. And again, like I said, it's just from, those types of things, the romantic love constantly being reinforced and reinforced in movies and on the internet and on social media and everything. It's constantly being reinforced.
Yeah.
But to me, love is something that's going to evolve over time.
Right.
And at a certain point, it's going to be like some logic is going to start coming into effect now. Once the romantic feelings and everything is fine and dandy and the butterflies are gone and everything, now you're like, you know what? I got to look deeper into this. Do we
Oh yeah.
do we really have anything do we have really any common interest? This is one of the things that because you have to be honest with your mate and say, you know what? This is one thing that I don't like about it, but you got to make that determination. Is that a deal breaker after the romance has fallen off? That's something that a lot of people aren't honest about, and it becomes a problem because now they're sitting there resenting. Now I can't stand the way she chews. Why is she chewing like this?
Right.
And it's driving them crazy.
Right.
Anything about it. Can I live with this for the rest of my life? Now that everything is not like it was in the beginning, and that messes up a lot of relationships. I think
that's because people don't evolve. They don't grow with it. You got to grow with it. You got to grow with it.
Love is something that grows.
Right, and if it doesn't, it dies.
Right.
There has to be like some self-awareness, obviously, like how you grew up and the type of relationship you had with your parents also affects how you show up in a relationship. And it's like, I think it's called like inner child trauma of how your relationship with your mother and your relationship with your father, and whether or not you were adopted or like you were an only child or like a third child, it shows up in a relationship. As long as there's some sort of self-awareness that you're keeping check into your tendencies and the way that you show up, like I think that's more important than trying to make someone change. Because if you're trying to make someone change, then you don't really accept that person for who they are.
Right. I'm with
you.
You
really, really, really love that person, you should be able to be like, I can put up with your chewing if I put a pillow on your face. Like that's just
yeah, no. But that's it's gotten bad if people allow themselves to get to that place that when they walk in and all they doing is cutting bread. Like, did she just cut the bread like that? That's something with you that you have to work on with you personally. You know what I'm saying? It's just something that and like I said, I've watched people go through that stuff, but that's why I keep coming back. You have to know who you are and what you want. You have to know who you are and what you want. You have to do the self-assessment on yourself daily to know you change as, like you said, experiences, the things you've been through, your childhood, your past relationships, the things you have to know, like, all right, this is where I'm at. I need to take a break. I need some time. I need to chill. Let me learn this. Let me do some studying. You got to know who you are. If not, people keep jumping. They go from this one to this one, and they keep bringing their problems. And it's like they're carrying baggage from each relationship to the next relationship. You know what I'm saying? And they keep showing up with a bunch of U-Haul trucks. And it's like, you can't. That's 7 U-Haul trucks, man. You got 7 U-Haul trucks pulling up to their house. Like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Like,
someone wrote a really good meme, and I saw this on Instagram. It was like, it was for a Bumble like profile. Hi, this is what I like to do for fun, and these are the attachment issues that I have coming into the relationship. I never knew my dad growing up, and there's another one about like I also am always looking for a daddy the next date. I'm like, wow, people actually write these things on their profiles.
It's just you know what? But that's real. At least they put that shit out there.
I'm all about it.
Right. At least they put the shit out there, man. Even though they shouldn't do that, you shouldn't be dating, but they put the shit out there. It's like your shit should say banned on the top. Like
I literally like, you need a therapist, not a boyfriend.
Right. That,
Like,
you shouldn't be on Bumble. You should be on Crumble, motherfucker. Crumble. Like,
you know what? Like, I shouldn't say that. Like, guys also have that in their profiles. They literally are like, sometimes I'll read a profile, I'm like, wow, big mama's boy right there. Like, do you live with your mom?
Big mama's boy, right?
Mama's boy right there. Like, I'm looking for someone who loves to go out and like travel. Everybody loves to travel, but like, I'm a great cook and all. Like, come on now, like, you can always tell. Like, what?
That's funny. That's funny as shit.
That's not like a girl thing. Guys have that on their profile.
Listen,
sure.
I know a lot of these guys are pussies and suckers, sissies, and let me call them whatever you want to call them. But no, definitely. Hey, C.
Yep.
We have Kay. She's a feminist, right? She's I gotta put it out there, man. Don't look like that and shit. You know, there's text. You know, then send a text like or email and shit like, hey, later on I'm gonna get you. But listen.
We'll have this girl back here.
Right. Will we ever figure out women? Will we ever figure out? No, and you know what? And we got Kay here. Do you, before me answer that, I want to, do you think women will ever, like your friends, your group of friends, family, whatever, sisters, will you guys ever figure out men?
Oh my God. Men are so confusing. I think they're confusing. I think there's just a lot of assumptions. Like, we guess and assume and create these stories in our head on both sides. I don't think that's just a women thing. Like,
that's the perfect word. You create these stories. I love that.
No, you have a
the sixth sense.
It's a very, like, now remember, it's like, it's your thoughts and emotions are coming from, your thoughts are what drives your emotions, which creates the actions that you show up with. And so, like, let's say you get a text of, God, what's a great example of this? Let's say I have a really great girlfriend who I'm super close with, and she's seeing this guy, and she sees this guy once or twice a week, and all of a sudden he stopped texting. Like, stop texting for a day or two, and I'm like, all right, like, pick up the phone and call this person. Mm-hmm. She's like, oh, but you know, here's the last text I got, which was, what are you doing? And I'm like, okay, did you respond? I did, but I didn't get a response back. I'm like, pick up the damn phone. And
that's
by the time, I knew you'd say that, but like, by the time, this is like 3 days later, she's already made up these stories in her head. And I'm like, oh my God, like, you literally just pick up the phone or at least text and go, what are you doing? I just texted you 5 days ago. And I think, like, there's just this, there's a lot of, one of my guy friends says, don't give men too much credit. They don't think that hard. And you know, because I think when we make up all these stories in our head, we're like, maybe he's doing this. Maybe it's this. Maybe it means this. And my friend's like, he's like, no, they don't mean any of that. They literally mean what they just said.
What they just did. And I want to say something. Yeah. I used to tell, when I was married my ex-wife, I would tell her, I said, she would be like, you know, a woman's intuition. So I broke it down for her. I said, that's women intuition. Their intuition, wishing that this stuff is going on. You know what I mean? Real shit. So, their intuition.
That's probably why you're not married anymore.
That's my intuition. I go, no, your intuition, this is the shit that's happening. But that's not what's going on. But like you said, you guys create these assumptions, and that's the problem.
I don't think
men are really simple. We're very simple. We're complex when it comes to building a house or running some electric cabling or something. But we're complex then, but we're not. When it comes to a woman, we're very simple. What we say is what we mean.
Yeah. I think it comes from, like, women are very much like information gatherers. Like, we like to look outside of ourselves before we look inward. Whereas, like, I notice most men just look at themselves and look, what do I want versus what is everybody going to order first before I say my opinion. I'm not like that. I'm very much like, my opinion is my opinion. What I want is what I want. I'm going to say it. But like, most of the women that I am friends with have to gather some sort of consensus amongst a circle of people before they create an action. Like,
Right.
one of my really good girlfriends, she had her boyfriend. He just didn't show up the way I would want somebody that I'm in a relationship. I can tell you right now, I would not be in a relationship with the guy that she's with. But the story she was telling me is that she thinks it's because like there's a change in the diet and it's getting cold and hasn't talked to the mom in 2 weeks, so that's why he's not showing up in the relationship. And I'm looking at her going, I think he's just not into you. Like, I
That's
think
it.
he's
Guys
just
are
not
simple.
into
We're
you.
not
Yeah,
saying a change in a
I
diet.
don't
Go ahead, see. Go ahead. I know you want to say
yeah,
something.
guys,
I don't think it has.
guys, like Reef said, guys are really simple, and like I said, it's my opinion. I'm talking from experiences that I've had, but it's to me when a lot of women tend to overcomplicate things. Like a good friend of mine came up to me and she was like, "Oh, my boyfriend says he wants an Apple Watch for Christmas," and I'm like, "Okay, that's simple. He's telling you what he wants." But now
Right.
she's like, "But isn't this like an Apple Watch? And what about this one?" Well, no, he said he wanted an Apple Watch. Why are you now you going out and comparing 17 different things to the one thing that he
That he
asked
said. Right. Right.
and like conversation wise, men like to keep it simple. Conversations that I've had, like me and Reef could go into a car, we could drive for 8 hours, and either we're talking and we're being solid, and there's nothing like, what you thinking about? What you doing? He's just being. I'm driving. He's chilling. That's all that's in our heads, But if you're doing that with a woman, how come you're so quiet? I'm driving, and it's like sometimes you want to just say, look, sometimes I can actually sit here and not have anything on my mind.
Right.
My mind can just be blank, and I'm just driving. That's all I don't have any other thoughts going on right now.
Right.
But a woman's mind, I think, is totally different. I think what men are good at, men are able to compartmentalize their brains. Men have boxes in their head for everything. Okay, this is the
like a cubby hole, so you're just gonna
Right.
pull
this
the
is the
drawer
football
open.
box. I'm sitting here watching football, so that's the only box that I'm into right now.
We don't
But
multitask. We don't multitask our thoughts.
women's brains is just all over. Okay, you're watching the football game. I'm wondering about what I'm going to eat for later. What's going on there? Hey, what do they do? I remember so and so said something yesterday, and the guy is just like, "Oh, football. Everything is just about football at that moment." Everything is just about football, nothing else.
That's
how our minds work. A conversation, like I said, I could just be like, "Yo, Shay, there was a fight at work today. Bobby got knocked out." And you go, "Oh, okay." And that's it. That's the end of the conversation. I said what I said. You understood what I said. But now if a woman says the same thing, again,
like, what happened? What did you say? Did you just stand there?
You should have saw what happened at work. What happened? Well, Bobby, I kind of remember. Bobby, he used to go out with Sharon, and Sharon, you remember Sharon? Sharon is the one with the red dress, and she got drunk at the party, and she was dancing all crazy. And then our boss said that she couldn't come back to work for 5 days. And how did the conversation get off of the fight at work?
Hey.
Yo,
I am not gonna apologize for women's brain for being that amazing and being able to multitask.
You guys multitask your thoughts, honestly. That thoughts are like all over. It's just, we're very direct and just to the point. If a guy says, "Hey, I want a beer," that's what he's thinking about. I want a beer. It's just, that's it. You know what I mean? And women are like, say a beer, but it's like, what I like. I don't want to be. She'll say, "I'll get a beer with you," and then he'll bring it and go, "I don't drink this." And it's like, you could have just said that. You could have said that. You could have just told me that. And it's like, you guys are multitasking your thoughts. It's just like, I really want wine, but
I don't want a beer. I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
if I don't know. I've been offered beer and I've said no, I don't want any. But if you offer me wine, I will say yes. But I think like there's also the I'm very indecisive. So when I go to a restaurant, I kind of know what I want, but I want to hear everyone else's order first before I order. And then it's kind of like I get along best with people that I can share food with because I really can't decide. But I think like in a sense, you can have kind of like a quadrants of thoughts. So you can have like two main thoughts on the right side and then two side thoughts on the left.
See?
Like that's how I think.
That's four thoughts going at the
constantly
same time, cuz that's why when you're driving in the car, like, why are you sitting there driving like this? It's like I'm just focused on the road and shit. I gotta, make sure I'm following the navigation in the car. That's it.
Oh yeah.
But why are you not saying nothing? I mean, we've been in the car for 2 hours and it's like the music is on. I'm listening to music too. I mean, I'm doing two things, but you guys, like you said, your quadrant of thoughts, just all it's I get it.
I think though, and you guys can probably speak to this because I think like there's this kind of stigma in terms of like speaking out about your thoughts and feelings as a guy versus women are kind of we can do it freely without any sort of like stigma on us. Like we can talk about feelings all the time. And I think that's the being vulnerable in a relationship is also a really tough thing for everybody to do. Like nobody understands how to do it. No one knows how to say the right things. So I think you have to be really comfortable with that other person before you just say like what your thoughts are. I will tell you that I like complete, I don't want to talk when I'm driving. I just like listening to music or a podcast, but I have been in a road trip with a friend, just love to talk about her damn feelings. And I was exhausted. It was a 4-hour drive.
Trust me.
I was super exhausted. I was like, man, oh, wow. You know, I got when I get on a flight, please don't talk to me. I don't want to talk.
I just want to listen to the music.
Quiet time.
My headphones.
Yeah,
that's
this
it.
is quiet time.
Right.
Yeah, but
No,
that's just me.
So, do you think you ever figure out men? You think women ever figure out men? Is there anything to figure out, or is it just to evolve and grow with it? And
I mean, I think humans are humans. You can't just categorize men into one category and women into one category. You have to meet people where they are in their life and the context that comes and the baggage that comes behind them, and then see if it works. It's I don't like to say connection. I say compatibility. Like it has to be a reciprocal relationship. Like you have to be willing to give a little piece of who you are as a person to that person, and then vice versa. It cannot be a one-sided like relationship. I think that's when you can really say, I understand this person versus I understand men. But if you ask me generally, I think guys are they're confused. Not a lot of them know what they want. Right. And so it's hard for them to communicate and show up. And so when they meet someone like me who knows what I want, I don't know. I've once been told by guys that I'm intimidating. And I'm like, okay, you're not the right guy for me. Right, this is intimidating.
I think that's
like I said, you got a whole different problem.
Right, you got a whole different problem. Like I think it goes back to again knowing yourself, being comfortable who you are, assessing yourself, and it's always going to fall back on that. No matter what you face, what relationship you're in, what kind of who you're dating, you have to know yourself. You got to be comfortable with you, and if you won't be afraid to be vulnerable, to speak your mind, to say exactly who you are, the things that you're into, the things you're not interested in, because you're not there to people pleasers. They're not happy they are. So they're trying to please that person to get happiness for themselves. Like maybe if I dance on a fucking bridge, you know what I mean? And I do this, she's going to be happy. It's like, you got to just be you, man. And as long as you're happy, and if she's not happy, that's not the one for you.
Yeah. Have y'all ever heard of the chameleon syndrome? And that's a syndrome that they talk about sometimes when a person is so used to trying to be that perfect. He or she molds themselves to the person that they happen to be seeing. So if he
that's
and it's crazy because you actually lose yourself after a while, and after doing it so many times, you don't even know who you are anymore.
right.
You're like, oh,
Just,
she likes this. She likes this, so I'm gonna be this way. She likes this, so I'm gonna make sure I do this. If it's not you, it's always going to cause a conflict within yourself.
That is like a
that's
recipe for. That's a recipe, and I've seen people do this. That's a recipe for toxic codependency.
Right.
So that's why when that relationship ends, like you literally are like, oh my God, I feel incomplete and broken. Like, no, you are not broken. You're still a whole person. Like, I think when people say like, oh, I'm going to go and find someone to complete me, like you need to make yourself complete first. Like, you don't have to be 100% complete, but at least like be human enough to know that you don't need another person to validate you as a person.
Right.
And like, I think it's just so, I actually, because of my ex, I got really into cars and I know a lot about cars. I also know a lot about technology, and I also know a lot about like stocks and like finance and all that. That was a great benefit. But did I go to every single car show and every single like car release? Not really. Like, I didn't find that interesting enough to learn about it and have a conversation, but still be myself enough to say like, that sounds really boring. I'm not going to go. There has to be always a compromise. You cannot be an asshole and just say, that's all stupid. I'm not going to do that. Then you shouldn't be with someone.
Right.
I have coworkers that are really into Disney, like Disney fanatics. And their spouses and other halves are also Disney fanatics. Maybe not as strong, but I love that they do like Disney vacations and they do like Disney themed weddings and Disney themed like birthday parties. I'm like, that's cool. I would never be able to attach myself to someone like that because that's not my interest. Right. But that doesn't make, there's just a toxic codependency when you change who you are as a person just to be with someone. Like, I think, no. Just
you
like,
can't.
Giving me
I
hives.
personally got the whole Disney thing. I'm like, you're 40 something years old. You want to go to Disney? What? Why? I'm more, and I'm more. I gotta get out. I gotta be doing some type of activity, something risky, something challenging, like skydiving or something I've never done before.
Oh my God, no. No. I will drive you and I will wait for you in the car. Here, let's make sure your will is updated. Leave the car and house to me. My ex was really into like skydiving and like going out and getting like flying lessons and stuff. And that's what I bought him as his like birthday gifts and stuff. But he's always asked like, why don't you come with me? I'm like, I am afraid of heights. I can't even go up an escalator without like getting hot. So I will be right down here on the ground. Someone's got to stay behind to take care of the dogs. Something happens.
I feel it. It's like, man, since we on, right, I want to ask this question. I've been having, I have trouble with it. What's the big deal with choosing couples that choose and go out and they have struggles and they have arguments behind the washing machine and dryer? Like, what's the big deal, man? Just please, somebody let me know what's the big deal with the washing machine and dryer. Like, why is it so important in the household? Like, it just washes clothes, man. It doesn't do anything else but wash the clothes. That's it. I don't care about what color it is. I don't care. I don't really care. We don't, I don't care we don't got to spend $6,000 on this shit. It's just a washing machine and dryer. It's going to wash my jeans and dry the shits. That's it. But I've seen couples in the stores arguing. I've even, in my last marriage, we would argue about a washing machine and dryer. Why are we doing that? It's not that big of a deal. It's just a fucking washing machine and dryer. And I wanted this.
I've seen the same thing in stores, and I'm like, really? Are y'all really sitting here on? And it's because one time it was because the guy was just like, whatever. And she was just like, no, we got to pick out this. We need this. Well, he's like, just like you said, he's just going to wash our clothes. I just don't get it. I can't be, if it's something that gets her excited and she's upset that he's not getting as excited as she is.
Right,
we're going to pick out a washer and dryer, and I can get this. I can pick colors. I can do this, and I can do that. And the guy's just like, okay, yeah, that's fine. She's like, how do you like this? And she wants you to expound on, oh, well, it has this and it has so many drawings. This and that. Oh, yes, that's great. That's terrific, man. Oh, and he just going, that's cool. that's
so
all right.
I had a different reaction to that because I definitely don't care about the washer and dryer thing because your clothes go in the same way and they come out the same way, clean. It's my opinion. But there's something so like you've arrived in adulthood when you're buying like furniture that's not off of Craigslist and or you're buying like your first house and you're putting a washer and dryer in it. At that point, you just spent like $200,000 in the house, which is like another $5,000 for a pair of washer and dryer. But I personally didn't care. I think my ex and I got into a discussion about I really love sparkling water, and this one fridge, like they make the ones where they put like sparkling water, like you can put like the hydrogen thing in it. Mm-hmm. That was a really long discussion. Like he wanted one where it had like this pull-out drawer for all the beer, and I wanted one that the same exact feature, but I also wanted one with the soda dispenser thing. And it was a good discussion of who really was going to win out.
The refrigerator, I could see the refrigerator because it actually stores something. It stores something.
Yeah, like you're using it every day, but, right. But I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I think that's like not a bigger problem, but I think there has to become some sort of like agreement before you go into the store. Like, hey, just pick whatever the hell you want as long as it's under this much.
Right.
Right. Like, because it's shared finance, you're going into a commitment of buying like an appliance that is going to last you the whole time that you're in the house, hopefully. But I definitely don't care. I know women care because it's like we have a lot of delicates. Like I only wear leggings, so right. It's like, well.
So you don't really need a lot of space. You just need one of those small little portable ones. Yeah. Just it. Just put your shit in it.
But it's like, my ex also did the laundry. Like he did his own laundry. So it's like, it was really important to him to be able to have like a good functioning washer and dryer. I didn't care. My leggings came in dirty and came out clean. So it's like, I just didn't care.
Right. Well, that's it on the washer and dryer. We don't give a shit. It really doesn't matter, And those that are having real arguments behind it, stop because it doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm. A little silly.
Yeah, it's a little silly. All right, definitely. All right. Hey, Love Jones. You seen the movie, cuz, right? Have
Absolutely.
You seen the movie, Kay? Love Jones?
It's probably a millennial thing.
All right. Hey, you're probably right. Love Jones 2. Love Jones 2? No.
They made a second one?
No, I played around. But no, that's real.
Give me the cliff notes. What is it?
Fall in love ain't shit.
Yeah, that was one of the lines from the movie.
Right.
He had gone through a breakup, and in his friend's eyes, he was the guy with the solid relationship and everything. And then once his friends found out, I think he had showed up with a party with a co-worker one time. Yeah. And they were all like, wait a minute, he's the one he's married and so his friends were questioning him about it, and he was just like, falling in love ain't shit. Somebody please tell me how to stay in love.
Right.
And that's something that people don't talk about. For falling in love is easy.
It's easy, right?
It's easy. But to maintain that over the years, and especially at the beginning, we talked about if you set the bar high, there's no coming back from that. There's no coming back from that. The minute you take a step down, if you
stickers, remember stickers.
Yeah, if you start out, and I'm not saying just with gifts and everything, but if you start out all the way up here, there's no place to grow to.
Right.
You know, and you
So
always have to maintain that. You cannot slip up. You
I'm
know?
probably I okay, so obviously I'm the younger of the bunch, so maybe see you could say a little bit about like what it's like to be married for so long, but I can tell you in my lifetime I've fallen in love a lot.
Mhm.
Fallen out of love a lot. So it's that I'm very thankful for because it teaches me that even though something is not permanent, it's always going to be fun anyway. So that's the positive side
That's
of
the
it.
positive I
I
was.
think yeah, here's the thing though. Nowadays, like having a job is amazing. Like I'll meet a girl and she's like, "Oh my God, I met this guy. He has a job." And I'm like, "Well shit, that's bare minimum." Like why are you giving this person so much credit for speaking incomplete sentences,
Right.
texting you back, having a job? Like I those are bare minimum. Like the bar is so low in terms of expectations of who you want to be attached to that sometimes people are attaching themselves to like, oh, he's like an entrepreneur, like, oh, aka he doesn't have a job.
Right.
Like I'm probably too practical for this, but like who's gonna pay the bills? Like they who's gonna I how are you going to sustain a relationship with somebody who is not giving you residual income? It's not part of like
Right.
your income stream.
Mhm.
And I think when yes, I understand the bar is high and you got to keep reaching out for it, but like sometimes people will accept less than bare minimum. Like, oh, I go to church on Sundays and I volunteer. That's bare minimum. Like you show up at a church, that's what you're supposed to do. Oh, I show up to my job 5 days a week and I this is how long that is not phenomenal. That is just bare
Fair.
minimum of being a human being. And I think like people are so like women especially that I talk to, they're like, oh my God, it's just he has a job and he's like buying a house. And I'm like, yeah, dude, he's 35. Most people at that age have a job. Like it's yeah. Yeah. I don't think you should date someone who still lives with his mom at that age.
But well,
Like
that's their own expectations. Their expectations of you know what I mean on how and what they're seeking. That's what they're seeking,
mhm.
and
My
they.
bare minimum is probably like hey hi, but like
No, I know, but that's
When
just
I
something
said,
people have to set a high, have a bar that's you want the basics, you want the bare, you want the minimum out of it. You want the all right job, a car, be able to
right.
function as a man or as a woman, to be able to just
I
function and,
think
and take care of yourself. I don't have to take care of you. Be 100% whole.
I think that's the like there's the bare minimum. Here you are getting into a relationship, rediscovering who that person is, and then I think being in love also means being better version of yourself because of that relationship. Like
Yeah.
I'm not an expert. I'm not in a relationship, so I can't speak of what it's like to stay in love, but I can say like that I think is ideal for me. If I'm going to go into a relationship with someone, it has to be a reciprocal, like mental, psychological, physical type of reciprocation. Like there has to be a constant feeding to that.
Mhm.
Not like only on Valentine's Day. Like for God's sakes.
and,
Like, there's
and when I said setting the bar, you know, all I'm saying is that in the beginning, especially, you have to get to know that person because that's going to determine, you know what, is this person worth me constantly keeping this level all the time? But then at the same time, if you're willing to accept something a lot lower, don't get upset when that person stays at that level because that's the
Right.
level they're comfortable
I
with.
am.
And you said, hey, you know what? This is okay for me. I'll take it at this level. So
Yeah.
now you can't get upset because now they're not trying to get up here, you
Right.
know. And but those are things you have to
Oh yeah.
determine, and those things come with time, you know.
Yes.
You know, the same stuff that it took you to get that person is the same stuff that it's going to take to keep them. And you know, You hear guys talk about this a lot of time. The first 2 years, you're coming to bed in the sexy negligee and everything is all right. Then 5 years down the line, you wearing my shorts, my
Right, right,
t-shirt, your rag around your head.
right. Coming in looking like a thug. Coming in looking like young thug.
You know?
Hey. But
I don't see anything wrong with that. That's a great outfit to go sleep in.
No, that's a part of growing with that person. You're growing with that person. That's a healthy relationship to me. Is that you can?
He's comfortable enough with you to do that now, but a lot of people don't look at it like that.
You got to be cool with that. You got to be cool with that. And
a lot of people get upset. Where's the what happened? I thought you had a drawer full of 90s and baby dolls and all of that. What happened to that? Now every time you come to bed, you're in something.
But you know what, cuz? Guys gotta set the bar too, man, and have some fun with it. Like if you wanted to wear that, like I used to do, I go to Victoria's Secret for my ex-wife. I buy her something that I want to see her in.
Thank you.
And I bring it home. Boom. And if I want to see it, and I kept the drawer full because that's what I wanted to see.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to see
that's the right way to do it.
You know what I mean? Like, and have some fun with the relationship. So then that way, she wants to.
She's inspired
to do it. You know what I mean? So I think that's it. Listen, it took a lot before I even got there because I remember being that guy. Like, what the fuck is this? You know? She come walking out, and you like, what the fuck? Who's that? Rick James? What the, like, she's a freak. She just comes out. You're like, what the? Yo, hey. But at the end of the day, man, I'm like, all right, you know what? If you want to see something, you have to inspire her, show her, you know what I'm saying? And then, and encourage it. Because sometimes I get it. Women, they fall to a point where they're comfortable with you. So they kind of just be like, I don't got to show up for him no more. I don't need to do that. You know what I'm saying? I don't got to be that extra super cute or do my hair. So she just comes to bed, whatever. And then they get comfortable. But you got to send her to the salon. You know what I'm saying? Hey, babe, I'll pay for this, whatever. Just do things that you want to see. I don't think you should complain about it. I think that's where the relationship falls. And this is where I was going to go into when I'm saying that. Don't complain about it, meaning be a partnership. Make each other successful as far as the sex, the outfits you wanted to come to bed in, all that stuff. Be a part of that whole fucking process as a team versus just complaining to her. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, what the fuck is this and this? And I've seen people do it, man. And that's why I tell them, like, look, you got to encourage it. Go to the stores. You like Victoria's Secret. I like going in there. I like seeing the shit. I mean, I didn't mind. Real shit. I didn't mind. Like, hey, it's cool. And the girls help you out. It's fun to me. It's like, you get the.
You all should do an episode of like how to encourage positive reinforcement in a relationship, because it's like that's exactly what I would tell my ex. I'm like, you want to see it? You can go buy it. The bras are $90. I am not spending $90 on a pair of Victoria's Secrets. You want it? Go get it.
Go spend. No, encourage. That's why I tell you, like, even
these are the stuff. Yeah.
No. You saying that? That's why I tell you, like, guys, when I hear these stories with friends of mine, they're like C said in the beginning about going Dutch. I've never done that shit. You know what I'm saying? I've always pulled out my card. I'm paying because you want to lead by example. You want to show them. If you want to be that guy that they look at, you have to be that guy. If you come in and you're like, I'm gonna do the Dutch shit, I'm gonna do this, and then she's paying all the time, and you're like, I forgot my wallet, and
but that's how it was when we was coming up.
That's how we were taught.
Yeah, right. That's how. But I'm saying, like, I've seen people in the restaurants. I've seen a girl actually get upset when the check came and the guy reached for his wallet and she just came out. What, you don't think I can pay for this? I can pay for my meal. And I was
that's these new millennials.
Oh my God.
That's the feminine. You gotta keep throwing K under the bus. That's the feminine shit. I can take care of myself. I can do this shit. I don't need you. My job, I'm paid. It's just women have to realize too, let men be men. Let men be men. Let them be the man.
Hey, it's totally fine. I obviously started dating a few months ago. I broke up with my ex last year, so being single for a while, then going back into dating. So I didn't really know like what was the. I was like, gosh, it's been so long since I've been in the dating
Right.
game. And see, I was with my ex for 13 years, so like I've been out
You
of the
out for a
dating
while,
game.
right?
Yeah, and so one of the first dates I went on, like the guy paid. We were at a really nice like bar, like a restaurant bar, and I took out my wallet, and he literally like flicked my wallet, and I was like, okay, I was trying to be polite and at least pay for the wine that I ordered because I knew the wine I ordered was not cheap. And he's like, no. Do you think I can't pay for yourself? Like, pay for you? And I'm like, okay, this is awkward first date. And I'm still getting to know this person. And he flicks my wallet away. And I'm like, okay, I'm still going to keep doing it because I don't want to ever feel like I'm doing this because I'm trying to get free drinks. Like, that's who I am as a
Some
person.
girls
I've
are out there
always,
doing it. You got the ones.
yeah,
You got the
yeah,
ones that are doing it.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Like, I'm just not one of those girls.
Right.
And I'm also the type of person that like I really can pay for myself. Like it's not I'm the person that will show up and say like, yeah, I can buy my own house, I can take care of myself, I can do all of these things because this is who I am. But I'm not going to try and flex that on the first date, but I will always offer to at least like do half. But no one's ever taken me on the offer of that, so I'm
That's
not
a
going to
good thing.
complain.
Then you've been dating some decent guys.
Yeah,
Yeah, that they haven't.
I'd
And
say
once the
so.
one that
Yeah,
takes one up on offer, get rid of him. Once he says no, serious. As soon as he goes, oh yeah, you can take care of it. That's a sign right there out the gate. That's not good. But definitely
never
man,
happens. But
we got to get back into
noted.
important old school way. This new millennial style dating, we can't be doing it.
It's not
Men
a
have to
millennial
lead
thing.
by example. You know, if I tell guys like this, like if you're going to dating is like going to an amusement park. You have to pay admission fee. You can't get on none of the rides. You got to pay. So you have to when you're dating, you got to be willing to pay and pay and enjoy yourself. You can't expect a woman to pay and all the time and then still feel like she's gonna be wanting to be into you. I disagree that it's basically women are gonna look at the guy differently after that. After several, say they go out on 2 dates and she pays both times. She's not gonna have the same that confidence that she had in him or saw him in his profile or how he acted or what he portrayed. She's not gonna have that in him. It's gonna fall. That bar is gonna drop down where she looks at him totally different.
Well, let me play devil advocate.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm with it. Go ahead.
Because this is the day and age we're in now. Women do the chasing now as much as men used to do the chasing now. So what if the woman asks him out on a date? Who pays then?
All right. I've had that happen where I still paid, and she said, and she was like, I took you out. She's like, you gotta let me, and she was like, you gotta let me get it one time. I said, maybe one time. I said, I'll let it go. But I said, this is just what I'm accustomed to. This is what you know what I mean? And if that's cool, if you agree on that, but I'm gonna tell you, me as a guy, when I'm out, and I get offended if she picks up hers up. Even with my ex-wife, I used to be like, what are you doing? Like, that shit don't come out. We good. Don't worry. You know what I mean? Like, because at the end of the day, this is how I was raised. Like, you're around the women in the family. That's how that's what it was pushed to us. You know what I'm saying? Just like you got to take care of it. You go to the store. I went to the store for the family. Yeah, I mean, you buying groceries. You learn to take care of things and be the head of the household. So it's really difficult for some guys. But I guess in the new age, they got it like on those apps. I know the apps the women has to talk to the guy first and reach out to him first. And like she has to push up. She got to push up first. And they're trying to change.
I love that.
I think it's fucking things up because guys are getting to the point where they're relaxed now, like going out and shit and just acting like bitches. They're the bitches now. Serious.
I mean, yeah, we used to going after a girl used to be that was your job.
That was your job, right?
Honestly, I think guys today have it too easy. Especially like I said, I guess you said the new app is what? Bumble?
Yeah, and they be doing the girls have to go after. Yeah, the girls have to go after the guy first. Like she has to make the first move.
But I think like that feeds into this whole like women need to be chased type of thing, which I think is like, I don't know. I have problems with that. Like I don't like being chased. Like I'm
You
not
like
gonna
being
play
pursued, though, I'm
coy.
sure.
Yeah, being pursued is one thing, but like you still have to reciprocate some sort of like, you can't just be an asshole and just sit there and be like, oh well, he texted last time, so I'm not gonna text.
Oh yeah,
Or like,
They
yeah.
do.
like
I
I
watch it
think
with my kids now. You know, my kids will be interested in somebody and they come in there, well, so-and-so hasn't contacted me. I said, well, have you contacted them? And they's like, well, I texted them last. I'm like,
It don't
what?
matter.
I'm like,
about
come
it.
on.
There's just so much onus. I think of course, I know Reef is gonna say like, oh, it's a millennial thing, but I was like, there's so much pressure and like there's so much responsibility on one person to make a relationship work. Like that's just, I think that's unfair. Like you have to be a reciprocal part of the relationship. So like, okay, if we go out to dinner and this person pays the whole time, the least I can do is like cook or bring wine or like bring coffee or do some sort of other like act of service that makes that other person feel like they're an active participant in the relationship versus I'm just milking the shit out of this person, which I know some girls like to do. Like I know some women are literally like, I'm here, I've read about it. I don't know why I was not smart enough to do this in the very beginning of like my dating adventures, but like some women literally are doing these types of apps to get their bills paid. And I'm like, oh my God, is this like a real thing? And I read about it. Women really do
Listen,
go into relationship.
they on IG, they have their cash
Like
app
a side
symbols
hustle.
on
Yeah.
IG. They have their
I
cash app
literally should
symbols so
just
they can
put
get.
my Venmo on there and I'm like, you want to date me? Here's my Venmo. It's $25 for
Yo,
the
it's
first
crazy.
30 minutes.
It's like undercover prostitution.
I mean,
Seriously?
like time
Yeah,
is
cuz real
literally
shit.
money.
It's not, and it's not on the app.
Time
It's
is
on
money.
Instagram. They got their cash app symbols at the top, like for guys to give them money. It's this era has fucking gone bananas.
Commercialized time. Time is
Commercialized,
money.
right?
And I
Everybody's making
literally
money off
just
of
made it.
anything they can make money off of.
Wow.
I'm just mad that I never thought of it. I'm gonna go ahead and build an app that basically like helps women find these guys and make it the new Bumble.
Right.
Call it Rumble.
Rumble, right? There you go.
By the way, Bumble, the 31-year-old CEO, is the first female tech to bring her company
to the billionaires
public.
Wow.
So
she just went public. Her shares started at $40. They up to like $80 now.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know. I bought shares yesterday. I was very excited.
Yeah, they just started. Yep.
Oh, I'm gonna have
all
to
about
check
that.
it out.
No, I know. That's that No. That's good support. Your fellow women. You got to support them. Definitely.
Yeah.
I am obviously not on Bumble anymore, but I did think it was really different to be the first one to make a move. And then when you reach out to that person, they have like 24 hours to reciprocate that hello. Otherwise, they drop that connection, which I was like, that's really interesting because it's kind of like you're on it's like you're a soda. Like once you open it, all the carbonation comes out. Like, and it literally makes a connection so immediate. Like you have to like, think fast. You better say something clever, otherwise this person's gonna disconnect with you. Man, like it's so much pressure to be a human in a relationship now.
Yeah, it is. It's harder this era. Yeah.
I think that's I'm loving it. I think the more opportunities people have to meet other people in no matter what, I think that's a great way to stay connected. Like you never know, like this could be another 6 months of the pandemic, God forbid.
Right. And another 6 months relationship that, ends and fails. No, let me stop. No. All right. So we pretty much let's get to a place to give some possible solutions for better relationships.
I think, of course, like we said in the beginning, communication is important. I think that we have to come to the realization that men and women's brains operate differently. And you, like I said, you have to, a woman has to understand that, you know what, I'm in one box in my brain at a time. Okay. And the guy has to realize that a woman's brain, she can be in 20 different boxes at the same time. You know, you'll be in your one box. Okay, we're talking about what we need to get when we go grocery shopping. But when you talk to her about grocery shopping, she's gonna be like, okay, well, I know that this store has this store has that, this store has that. We're just like, well, it's a grocery store. We just go to the grocery store and get it. But she's going to be thinking 20 different ways. We got to realize, once we realize that our brains are different, you know, I think it's easier. But as far as figuring each other out, that I think that's always going to be difficult, you know, because you can't really put yourselves in that person's shoes. You know, I can't even imagine trying to handle 40 different things going on in my head at one time. Like I said, I'm just straight one box guy. Football is on. That's all that's on my mind. I'm sitting in front of the TV. Nothing else is going on.
I appreciate that perspective. That's made me think a little bit more about guys really think.
But yeah, just communication, I think, man. We got to communicate more. You know, don't expect me to read your, be able to, even though we may have been together for, you know, 70 years, 80 years or whatever, don't expect me to be able to read your mind. A lot of times I'm waiting for you to tell me this is what you want or this is what you need. Don't expect, well, I've been with you for 20 years. You should have known. No. Sometimes I need that. Yeah, just tell me.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Information.
I think people need. Yeah, I think that's God. There's so much. If I would give only one advice, it would be like go to therapy. No, no. I mean, I think like you have to, and this is not just a guy thing or a girl thing. I think individuals in a relationship need to really know who they are and be happy alone first before they go into an attachment with someone else. Because if you don't love yourself, you're just gonna open up a bigger wound going into a relationship. I think you set that relationship is doomed to fail. It's not gonna work out. And that's like, I don't know, you go get a hobby, go like learn something new, go to therapy, like go do something for you first. But that's my only advice.
All right, and you were right on. You guys were both on the money with me. Is I feel, you know, be whole, 100% whole before you get into anything. Know who you are. Assess yourself daily because you change through experiences. You change constantly, and you find something new that you like. So you got to assess yourself because it may not be that same thing when you're dating that person. And then, like C said, the communicate that to them like, hey, I'm interested in this now. You know what I mean? So they know, and they may not want to be a part of that. Whatever it is you get into, hey, I want to be a poly. You know what I'm saying? And the people that have dated multiple people, and that's what they're thinking in their head. And if she's not comfortable with that or he's not comfortable with that, communicate that. Be real, be honest, be whole, be who you are, and be comfortable with saying it. So then that person can make a decision and give them the option to stay or to go. You know what I mean? And I think that's the problem, that people are just sticking people in things and they're not just being real with themselves or that person. So like I'm saying, like everybody said, know who you are, be happy with yourself, and communicate, you know? And it's good. And millennials, gotta say something to the millennials.
Why don't you define what age range do you think millennials are? Like, I think I should push back on that.
I like to give y'all shit. It's funny. It's funny, and then but you guys are showing me there's other ways of trying things and being open to things. You know what I mean? And which is cool. So I'm seeing that, even though a lot of the shit I don't go with, I'm like, I'm not doing that shit. Like as far as women leading, because then a guy becomes a pussy. I think a man should never step and take the back, meaning play the back as far as protecting and playing, but don't ever sit there and she goes, well, I'll take care of this and I can do this myself. Because you put yourself in the doghouse right away. As soon as you allow her to lead that way, you have to be a man regardless of what. You cannot lose your manhood. The moment you lose that, you lost that relationship. Because that woman's gonna lose respect for you. She's not, even though she tells you it's okay, I'll pay the bills. Trust me, you are fucking dead. She is going to hate your guts this real shit. So you have to. I've seen guys go through it. You have to make sure. I don't care what you got to do. It's 6 cents. Pull that 6 cents out, your last shit with the lint, and pay for it. Hey, I got that, baby. Whatever you got to do, you got to take 2 extra jobs. Take it, because the moment that you are not the man, because women look for, whether they realize they're still looking for that knight in shining armor. They still looking for that superhero, that guy to come and save them, that Clark Kent. They love that shit. Even though they'll say, I can do this shit, they want the guy with the cape that can change up and play 2 different positions. You know what I'm saying? They want that motherfucker to do that. No, real shit. They want this guy. They want this guy like that. So
that's not just a millennial thing. Like just to say, like, okay, 1981 to 1996, I think is the like official year of range for millennials.
Oh, that
like
was
I think
that was for. I was just saying, I was giving you shit with us and the word, but I'm just saying as a whole, people just have men, and I'm saying it to men, you have to be able to stand. You got to stand on your own and make sure you are always being that man in that relationship. You want some things, you know what I'm saying, that you don't see from her. Don't complain. That's a woman's characteristic. That's a woman's trait, to be complaining. A man, we give solutions, handle it. I'm gonna go to the store, get her some. I want to see some lingerie. I'm gonna go get it, and that's it.
Yeah.
Solve the problems, man. And women have to remember, we only think one dimension. We just, like she said, football. That's fucking it. I'm watching football. I don't know anything else. When I'm driving, I'm driving. It doesn't mean I don't want to talk to you, that I'm not into you today. You know what I mean? I'm just driving. I'm focused on this shit. Because I know that's why she brought up, because I've been there where it's like, you're not talking. It's like, I'm just driving and Pac is on. I'm enjoying Pac and the road. Pac and the road. That's it. Pac and the road.
Oh my gosh. All Eyes on Me is 25 years old.
I know.
Hey, that's a killer, right?
Oh
yeah.
my gosh. Can you believe that?
25. That makes me old. Shit. I think of it. That shit is 20. God, I remember that when
I was like, damn.
we was driving down the VA.
I remember that, yeah.
You remember that?
Yep.
Yo, and that too, like you see, said that drive, we didn't really talk at all, and that was 12 hours or something.
Had the music pumping, and that was it.
That was it.
That was it.
See, what's on your mind?
The only thing I remember us saying, play that shit again.
That was it, yo, for real. But this is the segment of the Real and Unapologetic podcast where we review a family business, a sponsor, a hot product that we think is hot. And I'm going to let C take over right now.
Yeah, I'm going to review the Bose SoundLink 2. It's a wireless speaker put out by Bose. And, the sound is incredible. I mean, it has a ton of features. It has a built-in mic, so you can actually answer a phone call while you're listening to your jams. The battery, you got 8 hours of playing time on one charge. Good for parties. You can link more than one speaker at a time. The Bluetooth pairing, real easy. When you open it up and plug it up, charged up, hit the button, and there's a voice prompt walks you through everything.
Any price I see? Any price?
I think right now on Amazon they're about $129 per speaker.
Nice for Bose. That's nice.
Yeah, and the sound is incredible. Bose always was able in a small compact system be able to put out that nice sound.
Yeah,
speaker is small, compact, and the sound coming out of it is nice. The bass, the highs, everything. You know, another good product by Bose.
Nice. That's the Bose SoundLink 2. And you
Bose
heard that
SoundLink
here on the
2.
Real and Unapologetic podcast. This is the segment where we give you the real news, unapologetic, the way that it should be said, and we don't give a shit. We want you to hear it right here first on the Real and Unapologetic podcast. Go ahead.
Real take on this, guys. Check this out. 2 police officers were just basically excused from not doing their job. I always thought when you're a police officer, your job is to serve and protect. 2 police officers in New York just were granted, they could keep their jobs, even though they failed to do theirs. And the result of them not doing their jobs caused a woman to die. What happened was a lady, she called the police first, called 911 first, and said, my husband's acting a little crazy. I need somebody to come and help. A neighbor called and said, I hear my neighbor screaming, he's trying to kill me. He's trying to kill me. The screaming went on for about 15 or 20 minutes. They dispatched a car there, and the officers never got out the car. They said it was too cold.
Get the fuck out of here.
They never got out of the car to go investigate what was going on. And in the time that they showed up at the apartment, she was actually in the apartment getting killed. Had they gotten there, her life would have been saved. But they never got out to go to her apartment.
My thing, what's her race?
She's black, of course.
All right, so
I think one of the police officers was Asian, and I'm not sure what the other one was. But they never got out of the car to investigate. And they said they were on desk duty for 2 years. And then now the police disciplinary board has basically said they can have their jobs back.
Wow.
After the woman has died. Now, had they showed up, they would have been able to prevent her death.
Life, right. Prevent that, and her life would be saved. Right. But here we are again, man. And what we're seeing is whether, no matter who's in office, these cops are not doing their jobs. You know what I'm saying?
And all I'm saying is keep it real and keep it simple. If your boss came to you and said, yo, this is your job. This is what you're supposed to do. And then he comes into your office and you're not doing that. He has the right. Your job is done. You know.
Let me ask you this. You remember we talked about a few good men. We mentioned it on episode 6. And that whole thing was about those soldiers doing their job. It was an order that they were given.
Right.
What if these are the orders that are given from the commanders, their commander in chief?
Right. It could be.
See what I'm saying? We're looking at these officers like these guys are the problem. Just like they looked at those officers in A Few Good Men like they were the problem. It was actually, they did their job. Mm-hmm. They did their job. And they're looking like, what the fuck? I did my job. Mm-hmm. And the commander-in-chief could be the ones. Listen, man, America is shady as shit, man. I don't trust a bit of this shit, man. Yeah. And I know, like you said, we gonna have to put the bulletproof vests on and vest up and all that shit, man. But at this point, it is what it is. America knows who they are. You know what I'm saying? They do there's a lot of shady shit that go on. And like you said, it's got to stop.
Yeah.
And this is not going to be, this is just February. Wait till we get to episode 50 or 100 by the end of the year.
And we still talking about this same shit.
Same shit. Real shit. Right here on the Real and Unapologetic podcast and the Real Take. It's going to be the same shit, man. And the only way it's going to change is that we have to start protecting us. We got to start protecting our people, man. Who's the fuck up of the day?
Man, this guy don't even have a name. And dude, it just never ceases to amaze me the stupid shit that people will do on the internet, man.
Get the fuck. I glanced at what you put. I just saw it just now, like real shit.
I mean, I just don't understand the mindset. Now here's this guy. He puts the dog. You know the collars that you got to train your dog.
Right.
He puts the collar on his neck and has somebody press the button, and then he's just it knocks him on the floor. He's in crazy pain, and then he gets up like he's just totally shocked that shit hurt. What the fuck did you think it was going to do? It's a shock collar. It's shooting electricity through you. What did you think it was going to do? It's just going to be all, that ain't bad. It's a fucking shock collar.
Right.
Yeah. All for the internet.
Fucking dog shock collar on though.
Huh?
Why would you put a dog shock collar on your son? You're a human.
Like I said, I don't understand the mindset. I don't
want to keep saying millennial shit, but it's this millennial shit, man.
It's millennial shit.
It's millennial shit, man. That's the phrase of the day. The word of the day is millennial shit. Read it. Millennial shit.
That should be a new segment on the show. Millennial shit.
I'm with it. Millennial shit. That's gonna be a new segment. We're using that. So, and who's this? Marjorie Taylor. Who's that?
Oh my goodness. She's the senator who just got elected from Georgia. She's a QAnon supporter. She's a fervent Donald Trump supporter. But this chick is absolutely insane. Okay, number one, she doesn't believe that some of these school shootings happen. Okay, she doesn't believe a plane flew into the Pentagon. She thinks that there are Jewish laser beams shooting out of the earth causing global warming and causing the fires in California.
Sure.
Okay, but she's supposed to be a senator of the United States. She's from Georgia, but I thought one of the things and one of the tenets of the United States was that we accept all people, all races, all creeds, free from religious persecution. She goes on to this rant about Senator or Congresswoman Omar, and there's a couple of other Muslims. She feels that Muslims shouldn't be allowed in the United States government. She went on this rant about they didn't swear their oath on the Bible. They asked to use the Quran. This country is supposed to be, that's what they say, right? We know it's different, but this just proves our point. White people don't believe in the shit that the United States is supposed to be about. And one of the things is that you're supposed to be free from religious persecution. That means whatever religion you want to believe in, nobody should have a problem.
Yeah.
But then this is how it ties into our next episode, which is going to be religion. She's a straight up, well, I guess you want to call her one of them diehard Christians. But I thought that was part of Christianity. You don't judge other people. You're supposed to love everybody.
Christians are the biggest judges. They judge every fucking body.
That's what I'm saying. So how much hypocrisy is that? Come on, man. You should see some of the stuff she says, man.
I'm gonna check the clip out, but first I'm gonna say, get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out of here. Take that bitch the fuck out of the Senate. Straight up. Get the fuck out of here with that shit.
Yo, listen, man. We seeing over time, man, that this country ain't built on what it said it's built on. The promises, it's bullshit, man. So, and we're gonna see you're gonna see, because we're gonna keep recording you and we're gonna keep you informed. It's bullshit, man. And that's why you're gonna get it here on the Real and Unapologetic podcast. We always gonna keep you informed. So this is where you need to come. We ain't gonna give you no chewing gum bullshit. We're gonna give you the facts, the truth, without any fucking, puff or to it or whatever, man. Just straight up.
Straight up, no chaser. Hard, raw, and unapologetic.
I hope all you lovebirds today on Valentine's Day, man, or if it's just your special day, y'all, your first date, you guys have, you take some of the advice and some of the stuff that we talked about today, and you add that to your relationship to help you guys have a healthy relationship. Because that's what it's all about, man. Having a healthy relationship, man. And if you find yourself in a toxic relationship, get the fuck out now.
Right. You know, don't be one of those people who feel that you have to figure out a way to make this work. If it's showing you that it's not working, it's not working.
Right.
Don't be afraid of that. It's not working.
Right.
Time to move on. Sometimes you can't.
Way too many people out there.
Right.
There's way too many people out there to settle for basic toxic shit. Like it's just there's too many people out there.
7 billion. 7 billion, and it's growing. It's growing, man. It's growing. All right, man. Thank you. The Real and Unapologetic Podcast, episode 7. It's a wrap.